In today's MMA world, a storm is brewing. Khabib Nurmagomedov just sent a strong message to Khamzat Chimaev ahead of UFC 319, and it's got everyone talking. Chimaev didn't stay silent either. He fired back at all the noise. And that's not all. Tom Aspinall's title defense is finally locked in, and Alexander Volkanovski has some tough but honest words about Max Holloway's decline. Let's dive in. Khabib shocked fans with a surprising warning for Khamzat Chimaev ahead of his title fight with Dricus Du Plessis. While most fans believe Khamzat's only shot is to come out like a storm, destroy DDP early, and end things fast, Khabib thinks that's a bad idea. He says if Khamzat goes in full blast and doesn't finish the job early, he's going to gas out, and that could cost him everything. Khabib's advice? Stand and trade, don't go wild, be smart, he reminds everyone. It's a 5-round fight. You can't burn yourself out in the first 2 rounds. That makes sense on paper. But here's the problem, that's not who Khamzat is. His whole career has been built on chaos. He overwhelms opponents, suffocates them, finishes them early. That's his identity. Asking him to suddenly slow things down in the biggest fight of his life? That's a huge gamble. Still, Khabib isn't doubting Khamzat's skills. In fact, he thinks Khamzat's boxing is sharper than DDP's. He says with the right game plan, Khamzat can absolutely win this, but he needs to be smart. He needs to be ready for a war. Khabib also spoke about Islam Makhachev's upcoming fight with Jack Della Maddalena. And make no mistake, he's not taking Jack lightly. Khabib pointed out Jack's size, his striking, even his takedown defense. He says Jack is actually more dangerous than Ilia Topuria, and that's saying something. According to Khabib, Jack has underrated grappling too. They're not walking into this thinking it'll be easy, they're preparing for a real battle. Let's talk about what Khabib said in his interview with Adam Zubair. He said he doesn't think Du Plessis is bigger than Khamzat. In fact, Khamzat is taller. He doubts Dricus even walks around heavier than him. He called it a fascinating fight, one that really matters. For Khamzat, this is it. Everything he's worked for has brought him here. Now it's time to finish the job. Khabib said Dricus is the kind of fighter who won't stop coming unless you put him down. He's strong, tough, awkward in the way he fights. His kickboxing is wild and unorthodox. Not super accurate, but he throws a ton and never stops moving forward. He's not the most technical guy out there, but he's dangerous because of the pressure. So Khabib's advice is clear. Keep it standing. Khamzat has the edge in boxing, but be careful. Go hard in the first round if you must, but don't rely on finishing it early, because if it goes long, you've got to be ready. You can't run out of gas. Meanwhile, Khamzat has been in the spotlight for more than just the fight. At UFC 318, Paulo Costa called him out loudly, and then things got personal. Costa claimed Khamzat messaged his wife, and even dropped a screenshot to prove it. Khamzat fired back. He says it was actually her who messaged him first. Now, we're not here to turn this into a reality show, but let's talk facts. Paulo's wife is also his manager, and there was a time when the two fighters were scheduled to fight. So maybe she messaged him for business, maybe something related to the fight or negotiations. But still, it's weird. It's not normal for a fighter's manager, who's also the wife, to be sliding into DMs on Instagram, especially when tensions are already high. Kamaru Usman didn't stay silent either. He called out Khamzat, saying there are lines you don't cross, even in this sport. Taking shots at Costa's family? Not cool. Usman made it clear, there's a boundary. He also gave his honest opinion on where Costa stands in the middleweight title scene. With a stacked lineup, Imavov, Bo Nickel, Cannonier, Whittaker, Strickland, it's not an easy road. Usman says Costa probably needs 1 or 2 more big wins before he gets a title shot. But here's the thing, Costa knows how to create noise. Fans react to him, they talk about him, that matters. So don't be surprised if Costa finds himself back in that title picture sooner than expected.
I think Paulo Costa needs a win over somebody in that top 5. You know, Paulo Costa hasn't fought Caio Borralho, hasn't fought Nasruddin Imavov. I think he still needs another win for UFC to consider that. But, you know, great call out. And I mean, come on, Henry, you said that. Like, I guess this is the time where anything goes nowadays. You know, we're talking about wives, we're talking about families, we're talking about, like, come on. At what point, this is what they say is, at what point does this leave sport and become just personal? Because once you're starting to get into other things other than sport, then it becomes personal. Because sport, you can talk about how bad I suck with my left kick, or how slow my right hand or how my lack of power, or you can talk about those things. But when you start to talk about people who have nothing to do with the sport.
Now let's shift to Alexander Volkanovski. After Max Holloway's emotional retirement win over Dustin Poirier, most fans were feeling proud. It was a powerful moment, but Volk looked at it differently. Yes, he respects Max. Yes, he gave him credit, but he's also honest. He pointed out something others have started to notice. Max's chin just isn't what it used to be. For years, Max was unbreakable. He could take bombs and keep moving like nothing happened. But that's changing. He's now been dropped in 3 straight fights, including that brutal KO loss to Ilia Topuria at UFC 308. Volk said it clearly. He doesn't like saying it, but it's the truth. Max doesn't take shots the same way anymore, and that changes everything. If Max ever decides to fight again, he won't be able to rely on being the guy who can walk through punches. He'll have to fight differently. He'll need to be more careful, more technical, more calculated. Max is still a legend. He went out on a high note, but Volk is warning everyone, the days of the unstoppable Max might be over. The chin that made him a legend, it's cracking, and that's hard to watch. Now let's talk about Tom Aspinall. It's official. Tom has signed the contract for his first undisputed heavyweight title defense, and fans can finally breathe. After all the rumors and waiting, it's happening. His opponent, Gane. UFC Eurosport confirmed it, and the excitement is building fast. This isn't just another fight. This is the one people have been waiting for. After all the back and forth with John Jones, the delays, the politics, finally Aspinall has a real challenge set in stone. No more games, no more waiting, just business. And Gane, he's coming in with something to prove. His last fight, a very close and controversial win over Volkov, left a lot of fans questioning him. Even Gane knows it wasn't his best night. This fight is his chance to shut everyone up, to remind the world who he really is. He's been at the top before, but staying there, that's a whole different level of pressure. For Gane, beating Aspinall would be massive. It would silence the critics. It would show he belongs. But beating Aspinall, that's no walk in the park. Tom is on another level right now. He's calm, composed, and dangerous. He's the new king, and he's not looking to give up his crown. But imagine this. Just think about it. Let's say Gane pulls it off. He beats Aspinall. He becomes champion again. And then, out of nowhere, John Jones returns, fights Gane again, beats him again, and then retires for good. That would be insane. It would be the ultimate troll move. One of the craziest endings we could ever see in UFC heavyweight history. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Right now, all eyes are on Aspinall versus Gane. 2 elite fighters, 1 title, 1 shot to prove they're the best. This fight isn't just hype. It matters, and it's finally happening.
I haven't really seen Max dropped like that. He was like getting hurt. I don't know, I hate saying it, right? Like, cause you know, you talk about it, but I mean, is the chin exactly the same? I don't know. I don't know if I can say it is. So, but that's what I mean. If they fight again, or moving forward, Max just can't rely on his chin like he used to. Got to be a bit more strategic. I think he got hit quite a bit in this one. I thought he would not get hit as much. I thought he'd be a little more strategic and play on the outside a little bit more, which he was doing great. But then he started getting in a position where Dustin could land just even short jabs and just, obviously southpaw, so that lead hand's a bit closer. Incredible performance from Max. Again, not many people can come back from losses, let alone knockout losses, in a BMF fight, be up again and still point to the ground and say, let's do it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, he really is a BMF. That's like, I wouldn't do that. I'll tell you right now.
And that wraps up today's wild ride in MMA. Khabib's unexpected advice for Khamzat has people second-guessing their predictions. Khamzat firing back at critics and drama with Costa's wife adds more heat. Volkanovski's brutally honest comments about Max Holloway have stirred emotions. And now, Tom Aspinall versus Gane is set to shake up the heavyweight division. These are the moments that make MMA so electric. The tension, the emotion, the chaos, and above all, the heart. Every fighter, every fight, every round, it means something. This sport isn't just about punches and kicks. It's about pride, redemption, legacy, and everything in between. Thanks for watching. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for all your daily MMA updates. We'll be back with more soon.